Where y'all want me?
In the middle.
All right, so I guess that's why that seat's out. Somebody water. All right. Y'all want me to just go or?
It's like an opening statement.
All right, well, awesome win, surreal to even have the opportunity to come into the Yumps, and this is my first time stepping foot in here doing any type of sporting event. I have not been able to see a game. I've only watched it from TV, from far away. When I'm here in the summer, we've done a little tour, but there's no floor, there's no hardwood down. So when Kenny and I talked about playing, I just thought it'd be an awesome experience, and I went in thinking that, hey, it could be a tough game for us to win, but it's going to be a great overall experience for my team, the program, and it'll be a great way to get the season started. So tonight, I mean, our guys came out and executed our game plan. We talked about taking care of the ball. Don't let those guys get out in transition. We might not win on the glass, but don't get punished. Don't get smashed. Don't get killed. Don't give them second chance opportunities because they're so tall, they're so long, and they may struggle to score, but if you give them opportunities off of turnovers and off of second chance points, it could be a long night. They executed it. But our defensive principles, they was on point. They were connected, and they played with an incredible competitive spirit. And that's just from experience. We got about 8 guys that are experienced, and they've been in some tough wars. They've lost a lot of games, and they've been able to respond over and over again. And you know, I'm excited. I'm happy, but I'm also a little bit, you know, mixed emotions because that's my brother. That's my guy. He brought me in, took me underneath his wing, and Louisville is family to me. But sometimes you got to go through adversity. You got to learn hard lessons. You got to figure out who's going to be the cornerstone of the program, and figure out how to get that winning feeling, that competitive feeling back. And I think that's what they're going to. But they're a great group, talented group. Kenny's going to do it. He's saying, I mean, everything he said, I said last year. I could probably tell you exactly. It's about the process. You can't get caught up in the results. And along the way in the process, you're going to figure out who can handle adversity and who can't. So it'll be a learning lesson from him, but it's going to be a great trip home for us. We're going to enjoy this one. It don't count really, but it counts if you know what I mean. So that's kind of what I thought after it all sank in. When I get home, it'll probably be a little bit better feeling when I set my foot down in Hickory on Lenoir-Rhyne's campus. But right now, as long as those guys are enjoying it, celebrating, and all our fans are enjoying it, celebrating, I think that's the most important.
Everick, Kenny said that you guys were doing the things he wants his team to do, the way you move the ball, that kind of stuff. I just wonder what it felt like for you down the stretch of that game to watch your guys keep running their stuff to get some of those slips to the basket, move the ball around and get those open threes.
I'm serious when I say I've watched at least 5 to 6 press conferences and heard him speak. It is exact, because we run an NBA style offense. Right? I mean, every offense now, you can see our 5 men are very skilled. They all shoot threes. They all play on the perimeter. They handle the ball. They make decisions. So it's an organic type of movement where our thing is just keep playing. All right? There is no plays. If the play break down, you got to keep playing, get to the next action. He said the exact same thing. Paint touches are a premium. Paint, anytime you get the ball inside, to back out your percentage. And it was an ugly game. Neither one of us shot well, although I thought we had some great looks in the first half. They just didn't go down. But, you know, we were trying to get 40 or 50 paint touches a game, which is going to create the defense, allow the defense to contract, which is going to allow you to kick the ball back open to get open shots. The second thing is ball reversals. It's the Golden State Warriors, the NBA. Like, if you can't get paint touches, get multiple ball reversals to get the defense to switch side to side, side to side, and don't let them off the hook by taking quick, bad, early shots. Shot selection is huge. So those are things we talk about on a daily basis. It's the exact same thing he's trying to get his team to do. So it resonates. It's very, very comparable, similar in terms of philosophies. It usually gets uglier before it gets pretty. I'm going to tell you that. And personnel plays a factor. You might have to go smaller, so you got a little bit more ball handling. I don't know how small he can go with Ellis. You know what I mean? And his freshmen are babies. They pups. They don't really understand it yet. That's a process. That's something he's got to get to. I had one point guard last year, exact same issue. It was hard for me to ask him to take. He's a natural scorer. They actually know each other. They're both from Durham, like, and he didn't play tonight. But I had to tell him, like, you got to understand when to score, when to pass, and that's been something we focused on. And I just think it takes some time, but it is the exact message that, you know, I will echo in terms of how we want to play basketball offensive, our philosophy.
Yeah, Everick, they had their first 3 shots, jumped ahead of you 13-4, and then you guys turned it around. What changed? And secondly, are you surprised by the result?
Yes, I am, but at the same time, I'm not. We had a relaxed weekend. We went to the Muhammad Ali Museum, and there was one thing that I took from that I used in the locker room before we came out. Muhammad Ali was very confident. Very confident. Confidence. It's one of his core values. Like, we're going to come out here, we're going to play confidence. I didn't put any pressure on him. And it's different. You go into one locker room where it's a lot more pressure. First game, their head coach, first time in the arena, it's a lot more pressure over there than it was for us. So when we missed some shots early, as long as they were good shots, nothing changed. We just keep playing. They get tighter. You can tell toward the end of the game when they shot the ball. They were tight. They were tight. They had never been in that moment. Every shot is big. Don't know who's going to take it and when they're going to take it. So nothing changed when they took the lead. We continue to keep playing and get quality shots. We were just going to hang our hat on our defense. Defense, rebounding. If we could get out in transition, we look for opportunities. If not, we're going to make them guards. We're going to see how disciplined that youth was in terms of their players, how disciplined they are. And sooner or later, we were looking for an opportunity to get a cut, a back cut, a 45 cut, a cut from the corner, and see if they were able to play the right position. It opened up for us late. We got a couple looks at the rim.
I noticed down the stretch in the second half, Louisville cut the deficit about 8 points, and you called a really important timeout, I felt there. And your team played very poised, very confident. I watched that happen, and I just wondered if that was, you know, just the leadership on the team, or maybe what you said during that timeout. I believe there was 3 or 4 minutes to go, and it was kind of a real important stretch there. I thought you all played very confident, very
Thank you.
well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think it was a little bit of both. I told them, hey, we got to weather the storm. I think every team got a run in them. They had a run in them in the first half. They had a run in them in the second half. Weather the storm. I called the timeout to get organized, for them to take a deep breath. We're not very deep in terms of our offensive firepower. It's kind of like I could put guys in that are better defensively than they are offensively. So it's such a puzzle piece trying to make sure the right guys aren't out there. LJ McCoy, I think it went 4 for 9, and Nas Tyson, who hit the one at the buzzer, like when they're like Nas hadn't been shooting it well, but he hit one that was huge. It was a huge 3-pointer, and that's the type of break you need when you're going through a little stretch and they're making their run. So, I called that timeout just to kind of settle them in. Let's weather the storm, calm down, make sure we got the right guys on the floor, giving guys breathers. But also, I think, and maybe I got this from Coach Crum, and Kenny's very similar. Like, I'm not an overly emotional coach. I don't Coach Crum was like, we ain't overreacting to certain stuff. There's a poise in who I am and my abilities that if you're like that, your team will usually take on that. Now, I've got to get my guys, and I think they did a good job. There has to be a competitive edge. And I told them, if anybody, I don't have to tell you, if you're not ready for this game, something's wrong. And if you're playing on my team, you better come out and compete. You better play hard. And they came out and did that.
We're good.
Thank you. Hey, Russ, how you doing?
Good.
Good seeing the family good?